remember back to that first phone call we had.
I do as well.
It was, you were a completely different person.
Yes, true. On so many different levels.
Tell me, like, who were you then?
Well, I actually wrote a few notes, but one of the things I was thinking about is, getting the photo shoot done Saturday for the online dating, profile. It was interesting because I was looking at the different images, and it made me think about this class is kind of like, as you're being a photographer, it's kind of like a camera that's trying to get into focus. And when you get into focus, and I kind of was thinking about it, when you get the lighting right and the clothes right, I mean, I think that's when all of this love will, come about. But I think the biggest thing for me is really understanding the attachment styles and learning where mine came from, honoring where somebody else's may have come from, and also saying, okay, somebody has to be the secure one in the relationship, and the least I can do is let it be me.
Good for you. That's fantastic. That's really fantastic. I'm curious, like, where were you on that first day? Like when we talked, first of all, you found me like through a Facebook ad or something, right?
I had a few dates and realized, yeah, you could probably use a few skills. You're a little rusty, 20 something years of not dating, and clearly I wasn't wanting to be a dater. That was one of the things that I think I am proud of myself, is recognizing that there was a new skill that I needed as a better person to date. But the thing that is kind of an aha moment is you don't realize, as you do the work on being the naked dater and showing up as 100% of you, is you also now show up 100%, not just in dating, but in life, in other relationships, with your family, with your friends. And that has been the biggest, I think, kind of cherry on the sundae, is just recognizing that you've done a lot of work. And it was scary. I thought about how, there was a lot of crying, going, oh, goodness gracious, and a lot of laughing, like, goodness, you are a fool. And I laugh at myself all the time. But, that's a good thing. I think that the whole part of becoming more vulnerable and more feminine and kind of dropping that wall and just really getting into a solid place that it's okay just to be you, because just you's pretty awesome. Oh. But it's just recognizing that, hey, we're all just trying to get it right. And just being open and loving and kind and gracious. I think that is something that, that's a shift. You take the wall down and all of a sudden you see things that you probably were more in a fog. And now you're kind of awakened.
You have softened so much. It's really amazing. Like, you look 10 years younger. People don't need Botox. Like, do this course and you'll get younger and happier, right? Like,
yes, less stress. Yes.
That's so funny. But you, what was I going to say to you? What were you like before that?
Ooh.
What was the before? Give them the before, Renee. Come on, you can do it.
Yikes. Well, I would say that the before was very comfortable in her professional part of her life. Mm-hmm. That was probably the strongest place that I lived in. And it's been very difficult to realize that doesn't work in all aspects of your life. And I'd say my before, I had a friend that told me I was the intimidator, and that was part of the catalyst of reaching out to you. I had 3 people in one day tell me I was intimidating. I'm like, clearly that's why my phone isn't ringing off the hook for a date. And it was interesting. I was just going through my little book, and week 2, it was kind of asking what you're looking for, and I wanted to find grounding and clarity. And I thought, wow, I absolutely can say that those 2 boxes got checked.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And those are things that you really did need.
Very much so. Very much so. And then I was also kind of thinking, one of my aha moments was when you had us do our top 5 qualities that we're looking for in a man.
Mm-hmm.
And that took a little bit of work, but I was glad I did it. But the neat part was when you said later on in the course, now look at that list and are you offering the same?
Mm-hmm.
And I loved that. I'm like, it's easy to say, oh, what about me? And I want. But
Right.
the other side of it is are you giving that back? Are you showing up fully? And so you can't, it's not fair to look at a gentleman and throw stones in that glass house when you're not showing up and doing the work yourself.
Wow. You learned so much. I'm just like, you really got a lot out of this.
Mm-hmm.
This
Very
is
much
so beautiful, Renee.
I told you it's a life-changing course.
Wow. I thank you for this. This is really amazing. You really have done some phenomenal work.
And I wasn't totally the most enthusiastic student when we started. I was bought into it, but I'm like, okay, I got to do this. And now, I am definitely, I tell everybody, I'm like, oh yeah, I got a dating coach. I got my pictures done. I'm doing all this. And I'm happy to share because it's like, hey, if somebody's having a hard time, it's like, maybe that'll work for you too. Mm-hmm. Sometimes don't feel like they're worthy of the investment.
Right.
And it's like, for me, I'm like, no, I'm worthy. And I want to get it right. And so when I realized I was getting it wrong, but for me, I realized, yeah, you kind of messed that up. And to be able to say, somebody's kind of going, well, okay. And honestly, I can look back now and go like, I'd have been running the other way too. But, the anxious dater has left the building. And now, the more secure person, the more grounded person is here to be here. And, it's interesting. I've had a few dates, and the best thing is I was 100% me. And so if they call, great. And I would, maybe I would like to see them again. Maybe not, but maybe. But if they don't call, okay, I hope you find the person you're looking for. Because somebody's still out there that's looking for me, because I'm still looking for them.
What made you decide on that call to do this course?
For me, I really was looking for a authentic way to approach, dating. I liked the fact that it was kind of a structured course line of so many weeks. But I also liked the fact that you were not trying to teach us some little like magician trick, but it was more like the goal is to do the work on you. And I'd say the first part of the course is look at you. What have you done wrong? And celebrate what you've done right.
Right.
Then in the middle of it, here's some new skills. And, you need to kind of get grounded and educated on doing this better as a woman, as a dater, all of these things. And then towards the end of the course, it's more of like, now let's put this all together. And let's see how this all works together. And like my final 5 is in a little puzzle. I found a little template of a puzzle, and I wrote the pieces. And it's next to my bed. It's on my vision board. And so I have that with some other things. But for me, that's kind of how it is. None of us can tell the next person who is going to be to make them happy. It's not if we find a man we like, we can't tell our best friend, our sister, our daughter, whomever. We have to do the work for ourselves because we're each. And so for somebody who's like, I don't know, I should invest that money. Well, like you said, how long have you getting it wrong?
And how much longer do you want to keep trying to figure this out on your own?
Exactly.